phones are switched off rather than put on silent at the beginning of the meeting. Similarly, iPads should have their mobile data underset and switched off. This will ensure that we avoid any interference issues with the translation and recording of equipment. Could I have a list of apologies first? Any apologies? I do have Richard Owen Jones. Are there any other apologies anybody's aware of? No? Okay. I'll just read out a list of councillors. If you could just indicate whether you're present, please. Councillors Richard Dew.
Good afternoon.
Jeff Evans.
Yes, thank you.
John Griffith.
Pnawn da, presennol.
Apologies off Richard Griffiths. Ken Hughes.
Pnawn da.
Trevor Lloyd Hughes.
Pnawn da, Mr Cadeirydd.
Councillor Vaughan Hughes.
Pnawn da, presennol.
Llynnos Medi Hughes.
Pnawn da, bawb.
Alan Morris Jones.
Pnawn da I gyd.
Carwyn Jones.
Pnawn da, Mr Cadeirydd. Pnawn da, pawb.
Eric Jones. Councillor Eric Jones. No. Okay.
Apologies, Mr Chairman.
Apologies off Eric. Thank you. Councillor Gwilym O Jones.
Pnawn da.
Councillor Robert Llewellyn Jones.
Pnawn da.
Councillor Marion Jones.
Pnawn da, pawb.
Richard Jones is absent. Councillor Alan Mummery.
Present. Presennol.
Is it Brian Owen?
Pnawn da, pawb. Presennol.
Bob Parry?
Presennol.
Gary Pritchard?
Pnawn da, pawb.
Dylan Rees?
Pnawn da, pawb.
Alan Roberts?
Pnawn da.
David Roberts?
Presennol, pnawn da.
John Arwell Roberts?
Presennol, pnawn da, Mr Cadeirydd.
Margaret Merley Roberts?
Pnawn da, presennol.
Nicola Roberts?
Ymddiheuriadau gan y cynghorydd Nicola Roberts.
Thank you. Councillor Peter Rogers?
Present, good afternoon to you all.
David Rees Thomas?
Pnawn da, pawb.
Ian Williams?
Pnawn da, pawb.
And Robin Williams.
Yes, pnawn da.
Thank you. Could I ask the officers present to introduce themselves, starting with the Chief Executive, please?
Brynhawn da pawb, Anwen Morgan, Prif Weithredwr.
Ond da pawb, da gweld chi, Dylan Williams, di'r Prif Weithredwr, Deputy Chief Executive.
Pnawn da, Mark Jones, swyddog 151.
Pnawn da, yn enw i Robin Jones a fi di'r swyddog cyfreithiol. Diolch.
Ond da, Rhys Howard Hughes, cyfarwyddwr addysg sgiliau a pobl ifanc.
Pnawn da, Hugh Percy, Pennaeth Gwasanaeth Priffydd, Gwastraff ac Eiddo.
Pnawn da, Christian Bange, Pennaeth Rheoleiddio a Datblygu'r Economi.
Pnawn da, Ned Michael, Pennaeth Gwasanaethau Tai.
Pnawn da, Hugh Jones, Pennaeth Gwasanaethau Democrataidd.
Okay, is that everybody? Thank you.
Pnawn da, Arwel Wyn Owen, Pennaeth Gwasanaethau Oedolion.
Okay, thank you. Right, item 1 on the agenda, minutes of the meetings of the County Council. The minutes are only, not to be discussed, but it's just to reflect on their accuracy, please. Basically, the first meeting, the meeting we had on the 18th of May, 2021, I won't read out everybody's name. This was the one at 10 a.m. in the morning. And could I just ask for any discrepancies that may arise from that one? Anyone have any discrepancies? No, just for the accuracy. The next meeting is on the 18th of May, that afternoon at 2 p.m, 1400 hours. Any discrepancies on that one? Anybody got any discrepancies that arise? No? Okay. And finally, the 29th of July, 2021. Anybody, any discrepancies on that? No? Could I ask the council leaders to propose if they're correct, please?
Ie, gai gynnig bod y cyfnodion yn gywir, Mr Cadeirydd, diolch.
Yn yr un modd, dwi'n hapus i eilio, Cadeirydd.
Second. Thank you. Thank you. Could I ask if anybody's got any declaration in respect of the meeting that we're about to have? Any councillors or officers to announce any interest? You don't need to declare an interest unless there's going to be any discussion. No? No interest? Okay, thank you. I'd just like to make a personal announcement before the meeting starts. I'm sure that everyone has seen the headlines in the Daily Post on Saturday about the alarming rise in COVID cases during August. We still face very challenging times as a community, and as we face the coming months, I wish to appeal to everyone to keep to the rules in terms of public health, and also thank council staff for all the hard work in continuing to delivering services. Schools have now reopened following the summer break. Our best wishes to all pupils and former pupils who have now moved on to either jobs, further or higher education. Finally, may we remember those who have lost family or friends in recent months. Our thoughts are with everyone. Our condolences to any member or council staff. Of note is Councillor Jeff Evans, whose sister Jane passed away over the weekend. Very sorry for your loss, Councillor Jeff Evans. Could I ask for 1 minute silence in respect of this, please? Okay, thank you. Could we go on to item 4 on the agenda, please, the presentation of petitions, and I note that no petition has been received in accordance with paragraph 4.1.11 of the Constitution. We will now go on to item 5, the annual report of the Governance and Audit Committee 2021, the Chair's report, and this is to receive a report by the Chair of the Governance and Audit Committee as presented to the Governance and Audit Committee on 25th of May 21. And could I call upon Councillor Peter Rogers, please, to propose?
Yeah. Thank you very much indeed. Just before I propose it, I think that I ought to make a remark. Obviously, you will be well aware of the change from next year when we will be welcoming more lay members. I think the third has got to be lay members on this important committee. And in consequence, there's also been decreed that the chair of that committee will be a lay person. And I think that I welcome the introduction of more lay people onto it. But I think yesterday I was at an All Wales chairman's conference on the auditing committees, the governance committees, and what it was right at the very end that people brought up the authorities that haven't made progress in identifying or electing lay members. A lot of people, a lot of authorities did in fact have had lay chairmen for some time, but there were quite a few who haven't looked at increasing the numbers of this. And there was a warning. It isn't easy we've got until next May to identify or to get people to apply for this. But it is a word of warning, because we lost a very good lay member this year who gave a fantastic contribution to our audit committee, and that was really that he couldn't come to terms with one of the facts. It was a very simple fact, was that we couldn't, as an authority, you will be aware, of you that sit on the audit, of the masses of paper that we have to go through and the masses of tables. But there's an authority, we couldn't afford to have printing facilities to put these graphs in colour and the black and white. And that was one of the turning points that finally left. And we've also appointed other lay people to different things who have also lasted long. So I think we have got to rethink of the welcome that we give, to make sure that they're brought into this family of councillors to work with. Their contribution will be very, very, very important. And with that, it's just a warning. But we really have got to start from now to be identifying these people and to get them on board and for them to be elected as lay members. Before I propose, I would like to just pay tribute to the audit, particularly to Mark. I thought that Mark, through this pandemic, his responses, his recognition of people who perhaps was going to miss out on funding because they hadn't followed the rules, they hadn't done that. But what your team did, Mark, was an absolute credit to you. You're so swift and you were so quick to put these people at fear, to relay them of any fear immediately, and to make sure that if there was money, financial support there, you and your team made sure that it went there. And I just hope that you appreciate and pass on to all your members, particularly Marion as well, the work that you did. But I was very proud to be chair of this committee and to see the speed that you worked and the way that you recognise these people. I'd like to thank also the committee members for their attendance. I think that was tremendous throughout the year, and the contribution onto this committee, particularly. It's been a challenging year. And I think that I'd like to also gratitude to the council employees who attended and contributed to our meetings. And again, I thank the Finance and Internal Audit Services, who I've found was very helpful in this time. I think that we ought to be reminded of the importance of the work of this committee, which is even more relevant in the current economic and emergency situation, in terms of ensuring that the council is run in a sound manner, and that it is good value for money. And I'm sure that the committee is committed to working with the council employees in supporting continued improvements in this operation in 2020 and 2021. And I think that it's what I would now propose that the county council endorses the recommendations in this report. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Councillor Roberts, and thank you for your observations, which are always welcome. Could I ask for a seconder for this, please?
Mae'n bleser gen I gael eilio y cynnig. Diolch yn fawr iawn.
Councillor Robin Williams seconds. Thank you. Could we have a vote on that now, please, to see if you all accept the report, starting with Councillor Richard Dew.
Derbyn.
Councillor Jeff Evans. Councillor Jeff Evans.
Accept.
Okay, thank you. Councillor John Griffith.
Derbyn.
Councillor Ken Hughes.
Derbyn.
Councillor Trevor Lloyd Hughes.
Derbyn, Mr Cadeirydd.
Councillor Vaughan Hughes.
Derbyn.
Councillor Llynnos Medi Hughes.
Derbyn.
Councillor Aled Morris Jones.
Derbyn, Mr Cadeirydd, ond efo un syniad bach i'r dyfodol. Mae'n syniad bach ydi o. Yn y dyfodol bod is-cadeirydd y pwyllgor neu aelod o'r pwyllgor yn cynnig yr adroddiad. Ella sa hynny'n well na aelod o'r pwyllgor gwaith achos mae'r pwyllgor yma'n dal y pwyllgor gwaith to account. Diolch, Mr Cadeirydd, am y sylw. Just am y sylw.
Okay. Yes, thank you for your observation, Councillor Morris Jones. As I said, we are now taking the vote. Councillor Carwyn Jones.
Derbyn.
Councillor Gwilym O Jones.
Derbyn.
Councillor Robert Llewellyn Jones.
Derbyn.
Councillor Marion Jones.
Derbyn.
Councillor Richard O Jones. Sorry, he's absent. Councillor Alan Mummery.
Derbyn.
Councillor Brian Owen.
Derbyn.
Councillor Bob Parry.
Derbyn.
Councillor Gary Pritchard.
Derbyn.
Councillor Dylan Rees.
Derbyn.
Councillor Alan Roberts.
Derbyn.
Councillor David Roberts.
Derbyn.
Councillor John Arwell Roberts.
Derbyn.
Councillor Margaret Merley Roberts.
Derbyn.
Councillor Peter Rogers. Oh, sorry, you proposed it, Peter, thank you. Councillor David Rees Thomas.
Derbyn.
Councillor Ian Williams. Sorry, Robin. Councillor Ian Williams.
Derbyn.
And Councillor Robin Williams, you seconded. So thank you for that. We'll now go to the annual director's report on the effectiveness of social services. And it's a report to receive a report by the Director of Social Services as presented to the Executive on the 12th of July 2021. Could I call upon the leader, please?
Diolch, Mr Cadeirydd. Yn absenoldeb Mr Vaughan Roberts heddiw, dwi'n mynd I fod yn just cyflwyno'r adroddiad gan parchu'n llawn fel sy'n cael ei atgoffa'n reolaidd I mi na adroddiad y cyfarwyddwr ydy hwn. Ond heddiw yma fydda I yn ei gyflwyno fo ar ran y cyfarwyddwr. Ac a'i gychwyn hefo croesawu Mr Arwel Owen atyn ni fel pennaeth oedolion newydd braf iawn. Bod o wedi ymuno fo ni yr wythnos yma I groesawu fo at y cyngor llawn am y tro gyntaf. Fel nodwyd gan y cadeirydd y fanna, mae'r adroddiad yma wedi bod yn hillro sgrwtini a gyflaen y pwyllgor gwaith. A beth sydd gennym ni fama ydy adroddiad statudol y cyfarwyddwr addysg sydd yn rhan o feddwriaeth gwasanaethau cymdeithasol a llesiant bellach. A mae'r cyfarwyddwr wedi trio I grynhoi I gynlleiad o dudalena a phosib, ond eto yn ymateb i'r gofynion deddfwriaethol sydd arno fo mwyn I gyflwyno fo. A hwn ydyw ail adroddiad o, ac yn ei absenoldeb o, dwi eisiau diolch yn fawr iawn iddo fo am ei arweiniad yn ystod y flwyddyn. I fod o'n ail adroddiad, hon ydyw adroddiad cyntaf llawn o ac cyflwyno Mr Alwyn Jones nath o flwyddyn dwytha. Da chi'n gallu gweld o'r adroddiad yr amrywiaeth o waith sydd wedi mynd rhagddo a nad ydy'r argyfwng wedi ymyrryd ar y gwaith yna. Mae'r gwaith wedi parhau yn gwasanaethau cymdeithasol ac wedi dwyshau fel da chi yn gallu gweld. Ac beth sydd yn ffodus iawn I ni fama, da chi'n gallu gweld yr enghreifftiau o gwaith partneriaethol oeddan ni'n neud yn flaenorol a dwi'n ar farn a fel da chi'n gweld yr adroddiad bod hwnna wedi cryfhau yn gallu ni yn ystod yr argyfwng I ddiogelu pobl yr Ynys. Mae o'n bwysig yn fan hyn hefyd mod i'n diolch I holl staff y gwasanaethau cymdeithasol am barhau I wasanaethu o'r diwrnod cyntaf pan oedd pob yn cloi drysa I cadw hynna'n yn ddiogel, mi oedd y staff yma yn gofod agor I drysa I fynd allan a bod ni'n diolch yn enfawr iddyn nhw am gwneud hynny. Diolch i'r holl wirfoddolwyr hefyd sydd wedi cydweithio'n agos iawn. Da chi'n gweld yna'r cynllunio bwyd da Môn. Ac hefyd da chi'n gweld yr cynnydd da ni'n neud o ddefnyddio arian grantia enghraifft yr ICF, yr Intermediate Care Fund, da ni gyd bellach yn ymwybodol ohono fo. A dwi hefyd eisiau nodi, na adroddiad blynyddoedd I hwn, nodi'r her mae'r gwasanaethau cymdeithasol yn dal I wynebu hefyd a bod ni yn rhoid yn cefnogaeth yn llawn i'r gwasanaethau yn y misoedd anodd sydd o'i blaenau nhw. Gai hefyd ar yr adag bod hi'n bwysig iawn bod fi'n atgoffa pob adroddiad yr arolygaeth gofal yn ddiweddar yma a gai ddiolch o fod gai ddisgwyl dwi'n meddwl i'r canu na ddod efo. Gai ddiolch i bawb am eu cyfraniad yn enwedig i'r aelodaeth deledig sydd wedi galluogi i'r awdurdod gael adroddiad mor canmoliadwy o'r gwasanaethau cymdeithasol. Gai ddiolch yn fawr iawn i chi hynny. Dwi'n eisiau mynd ymlaen yn ormodol arno. Dwi'n meddwl hwn yn adroddiad ble ni gyd yn falchio ynddo fo. Mae o yn yr amrywiaeth yn eang. Mae o faes plant i oedolion, o anghenion dwys i anghenion nid mor dwys i gwaith partneriaethol ni, fo iechyd, y sector wirfoddol, maes ieuenctid, a'r holl mesydd mae da ni'n gyfrifol yn statudol amdano, ac mae'n blesar gyda i gyflwyno yr adroddiad fel bod ni, y Cyngor Sir, yn derbyn ac yn mabwysiadu adroddiad blynyddol y cyfarwyddwr. Diolch, Mr Cadeirydd.
Mr Cadeirydd, dwi yn eilio y cynnig yna ac yn falch o wneud. Diolch yn fawr.
Thank you for that. So we've had a proposal and a seconder. Could I now have a vote, please, to accept the report, starting with Councillor Richard Dew?
Ms Cadeirydd.
Yes.
Gen i dwair byr. Dwi'n meddwl, mewn cyngor sir fel hyn, mae yna rhyw drefn statudol yn does lle da ni'n gorfod cyflwyno'r adroddiadau yma. Maen nhw'n cael eu cynnig a'i derbyn ac amen, a dyna hi. Ond dwi'n meddwl bod o'n gyfle hefyd i ni fel aelodau etholedig, bod ni'n aelodau pwyllgor gwaith neu'n aelodau meincio cefn. Mae o'n gyfle i ni yna hefyd mynegu barn a safbwynt ar yr adroddiad sydd o'n blaena ni. A dwi eisiau manteisio ar y cyfle yma fel aelod o'r panel gwella gwasanaethau cymdeithasol. Dwi eisiau manteisio ar y cyfle hefyd i ddiolch. Hawdd iawn wrth gwrs ydy jyst ffaith yr adroddiad o'r neilltu, ond mae yna bethau hynod o bwysig yn yr adroddiad yma. Hynod o bwysig. Maen nhw'n ymwneud â'r gweiniaid mewn cymdeithas. Y bobl mwyaf bregus mewn cymdeithas yn aml iawn iawn. Ac yn sicr mae'r gwaith sydd wedi cael ei wneud. Fel ydych chi, Mr Cadeirydd, yn diolch ar ddechrau'r cyfarfod yma pnawn yma, ydych chi'n diolch i holl staff y cyngor, bod dwi'n ategu beth ydych chi'n ei ddweud. Mae eisiau diolch, da ni'n gwybod am y bobl yma sydd wedi bod wrthi yn ddygyn drwy'r cyfnod, y cyfnod anodd ydym ni wedi gael dros y 19 mis dwytha yma. Mae yr arweinydd wedi cyfeirio tydi at rhai pethau yn yr adroddiad a fyswn ni'n cytuno 100% ar pethau mae hi wedi gyfeirio ato at yr holl waith sydd wedi digwydd, nid yn unig o fewn yr awdurdod, ond gyda'n partneriaid ni hefyd, a mae hwnna'n hynod o bwysig. Noson o'r blaen, iddyn ni'n digwydd bod mewn arddangosfa gan gwmni oedd eisiau datblygu fferm solar yn yr ardal yma yn Neuadd Bentra Caergyliog. A mi oedd yna wr ata fi, ac mae fo'n deud, a chi ar y cyngor, dwi'n meddwl fi, wel, dwi eisiau diolch i'r gwasanaethau cymdeithasol, meddwl fo, am y ffordd maen nhw wedi edrych ar ôl mam, meddwl fo. O mam byw ar ben ei hun yn mynydd Mechall. Dwi'n byw yn Bryn Gwran, meddwl fo. Ond dwi eisiau diolch i'r gwasanaethau cymdeithasol am y ffordd arbennig maen nhw wedi edrych ar ei hôl i, meddwl fo. Yn ystod y cyfnod anodd iawn, ymwelwyr cyson yn ymweld â'r cartra, ac mae fy nyled i'n aruthrol iddyn nhw, meddwl fo. Felly, y math yna o beth, a dwi'n cyfarfod pobl, a dwi'n siŵr bod chitha hefyd, fel aelodau etholedig a swyddogion, yn cyfarfod pobl yn rheolaidd sydd yn gwerthfawrogi y gwaith arbennig sy'n mynd ymlaen. Rwan, da ni'n gwybod bod yna adroddiad pwysig, bod yna benderfyniad wedi cael ei wneud, neu wedi cael ei wneud heddiw. Dydw i wedi clywed y newyddion, ond dwi'n mawr obeithio bod yr adroddiad hwnnw, neu'r cyflwyniad hwnnw gan y Prif Weinidog yn mynd i olygu bydd yna fwy o adnoddau yn dod yma i Gymru, wrth gwrs i helpu ni hefo y gofal cymdeithasol yma. Oedd hi'n braf gwrando ar Mr Mario Crefft bore yma. Mae Mr Mario Crefft, wrth gwrs, wedi bod yn flaenllaw iawn hefo y sector gofal breifat yng Ngogledd Cymru. Cartra yng Nghanarfon gyda fo a cartra wedyn yn Wrecsam. Ac oedd o'n canmol Llywodraeth Cymru, deud y gwir, oedd o'n canmol Llywodraeth Cymru am y ffordd maen nhw wedi gweithredu. Os rhywbeth oedd o'n deud bod y gwaith sy'n cael ei wneud gan Llywodraeth Cymru os rhywbeth yn rhagor, wel, yn well os rhywbeth na'r drefn sydd yna dros y ffin yn Lloegr, ond i farn o ydy hynny wrth gwrs. Un peth ydw i yn falch ohono fo, fel rwy'n dweud ar y cychwyn, bod i'n aelod o'r panel gwella gwasanaethau cymdeithasol. Mae'n rhoi cyfle i ni sy'n aelodau o'r panel hwnnw. Mae'n rhoi cyfle i ni mynd i weld gwahanol adrannau o fiewn y gwasanaethau cymdeithasol. Ac yn gynharach eleni, mi gafodd y cynghorydd Peter Rogers a finna. Mi gaethon ni gyfle i fynd drwy ymweliad Leming i weld a thîm adnoddau cymunedol yma yn Sir Fôn. A dyma lle da ni'n gweld sut mae pethau wedi gwella gymaint. Da ni'n gweld erbyn hyn y gwasanaethau cymdeithasol a bwrdd iechyd Betsi Cadwaladr yn cydweithio. Da ni'n gweld yr integreiddio yma sydd wedi digwydd. Da ni'n gwybod hefo y drefn sydd wedi cael ei gyflwyno bod yna dair ardal wedi cael ei sefydlu yma yn Sir Fôn, yn ardal Caergybi, yn Amlwch ac yn ne yr Ynys hefyd. Ym Mhenfro Stanley, yn Amlwch, yn y feddygfa yn Amlwch, ac hefyd wrth gwrs yn ardal Canolfan Beiron, wrth gwrs, sydd yn ardal Mona. A dwi'n falch yng Nghanolfan Mona, mae'r ardal yna yn cael ei gwasanaethu, achos mae'n atgoffa rwy'n o gwaith aruthrol nath rwy'n fel Mr Byron Williams cyn gyfarwyddwr y gwasanaethau cymdeithasol yn Sir Fôn. Ond yn sicr, mae'r gwaith, mae'r tîm adnoddau cymunedol yn ei wneud yma ar yr Ynys, yn waith dwi'n mawr obeithio a bydd cael ei ailadrodd drwy Gymru a Ben Baladr. Jyst rhyw chydig bach o eiriau fel yna, Mr Cadeirydd, yn amlwg mae'r integreiddio sydd yn digwydd a mynd i fod o fydd i bobl Môn yn y dyfodol. Diolch yn fawr iawn.
Thank you for that, Councillor Gwilym Jones. Very much appreciated. I'm sure your comments and observations will be taken on board fully. Thank you for that. There's nobody else got any comments, anything? We'll go straight to the vote then. You comfortable with that? Okay. Councillor Richard Dew?
Derbyn.
You accept? Good. Councillor Jeff Evans?
Accept.
Councillor John Griffith?
A hefyd derbyn y gwaith da yr adran a pys iawn i derbyn yr adroddiad.
Thank you. Councillor Ken Hughes?
Derbyn.
Councillor Trevor Lloyd Hughes?
Derbyn.
Councillor Vaughan Hughes?
Derbyn.
Councillor Clynos Medi Hughes?
Wedi cynnig, diolch, a derbyn,
Yeah, you did, sorry, yes, sorry, the phone threw me off a little bit. Councillor Alec Morris Jones?
Derbyn, Mr Cadeirydd.
Councillor Carwyn Jones?
Derbyn.
Councillor Gwilym Jones?
Derbyn.
Councillor Robert Llewellyn Jones?
Derbyn.
Councillor Marion Jones?
Derbyn a diolch I Gwilym am ei sylwadau.
Councillor Alan Mummery?
Cytuno ac ategu geiriadoedd Cynghorydd Gwilym Jones.
Councillor Brian Owen?
Derbyn, Mr Cadeirydd.
Councillor Bob Parry?
Derbyn.
Councillor Gary Pritchard?
Yn derbyn.
Councillor Dylan Rees?
Fel sydd wedi cael ei sôn, mae'r adroddiad yma wedi bod trwy'r pwyllgor sgrwtini corfforaethol, wedi cael seil bendith, adroddiad positif iawn, derbyn.
Diolch. Councillor Alan Roberts?
Derbyn.
Councillor David Roberts?
Derbyn.
Councillor John Elwell Roberts?
Derbyn, Mr Cadeirydd.
Councillor Margaret Mealy Roberts?
Derbyn, Mr Cadeirydd, a swn I hefyd yn licio tegu y geiriadoedd y cynghorydd Gwilym Jones. Diolch.
Councillor Peter Rogers?
I accept, Mr Chairman.
Councillor Dafydd Rhys-Thomas.
Falch iawn, derbyn.
Councillor Ian Williams, you seconded the report, so obviously you're in favour. And Councillor Robin Williams.
Derbyn.
Thank you. We now go on to item 7 on the agenda, which is the changes to the Constitution of Delegated Powers, developments of national significance and non-statutory community benefits, and this is to receive a report by the Head of Regulation and Economic Development as presented to the Executive on the 12th of July 2021. Could I call upon Councillor Carwyn Jones to propose the report, please?
Thank you, Mr Chairman. Diolch. Fel ych chi'n gweld, eitem 7 yn eich pecyn agenda heddiw, mae'r adroddiad yn ei chyfanrwydd nath yr pennaeth rheoleiddio datblygu'r economi i gyflwyno i'r pwyllgor gwaith ar y 12fed o'r Ffennaf y flwyddyn yma. Mae wedi pasio'r pwyllgor gwaith felly drwy'r cyngor llawn mwyn i'r 4 argymelliad cael i cysidro heddiw. Cais ydy hwn i newid cyfansoddiad i ddirprwyo'r pwerau i'r pennaeth rheoleiddio a datblygu economaidd mewn perthynas â swyddogaethau statudol y cyngor yn gysylltiedig ag unrhyw ddatblygiad a ystyrir yn ddatblygiad o arwyddocâd cenedlaethol ac unrhyw ddatblygiadau sydd angen gorchymyn datblygu arbennig. Hefyd, ynghlwm â'r cais yma i ddirprwyo pwerau i'r dirprwy bwrdd mewn perthynas a negodi a chymrydwyo buddion cymunedol anstatudol ar gyfer datblygiadau a ystyrir yn datblygiadau o arwyddocâd cenedlaethol. A dwi'n gofyn i chi heddiw fod y cyngor sir yn derbyn y 4 argymelliad fel a nodir yn yr adroddiad. Diolch yn fawr iawn, Mr Cadeirydd.
Thank you. Could I call upon Councillor Dafydd Rhys-Thomas, please?
Dwi'n falch i eiddio'r cynnig yna. Diolch.
Thank you. Before we go to the vote, then can I ask if there's any observations of anybody? Anybody like to contribute? No? Thank you. So we'll go straight to the vote then. Councillor, to see if you approve, accept the report. Councillor Richard Dew.
Derbyn.
Councillor Jeff Evans.
Approve.
Councillor Jeff Evans.
Approve.
Approve. Councillor John Griffith.
Derbyn.
Councillor Ken Hughes.
Derbyn.
Councillor Trevor Lloyd Hughes.
Derbyn.
Councillor Vaughan Hughes.
Derbyn.
Councillor Clynos Meddy Hughes.
Derbyn.
Councillor Alan Morris Jones.
Derbyn, Mr Cadeirydd.
Councillor Carwyn Jones proposed the report, so we take that as read. Councillor Gwilym O Jones.
Derbyn, Mr Cadeirydd.
Councillor Robert Llewellyn Jones.
Derbyn.
Councillor Marion Jones.
Derbyn.
Councillor Alan Mummery.
Derbyn.
Councillor Brian Owen.
Derbyn.
Councillor Bob Parry.
Derbyn.
Councillor Gary Pritchard.
Yn derbyn.
Councillor Dylan Rees.
Derbyn.
Councillor Alan Roberts.
Derbyn.
Councillor David Roberts.
Derbyn.
Councillor John Harwell Roberts.
Derbyn.
Councillor Margaret Mealy Roberts.
Derbyn, Mr Cadeirydd.
Councillor Peter Rogers.
Accept, Mr Chairman.
Councillor Dafydd Rhys-Thomas, you seconded the report, so we take that as read. Councillor Ian Williams.
Derbyn.
And Councillor Robin Williams.
Derbyn.
Thank you. We now go on to item 8 on the agenda, which is diversity declaration. And this is to receive a report by the Head of Democratic Services as presented to the Democratic Services Committee on the 29th of July 2021. I'd like to call upon Councillor Robert Llewellyn Jones to propose the report, please.
Diolch yn fawr iawn, Mr Cadeirydd. Cyn i ni fynd ar y rhaglen, gai nodi bod Mr T. Hugh Jones yn ymddeol ar ôl, wel, cyn Dolig anyway te. Wedyn, fel pennaeth yr gwasanaethau democrataidd, mae Hugh wedi bod yn gweithio am blynyddoedd yn y gwir i wneud trefn ar lot o bethau sy'n rhedeg y cyngor. A fydd o'n collad mawr i ni gyd ar ôl Hugh ymddeol te. Ond na fo, mae wedi wneud y penderfyniad. Mae'n hogyn ifanc, ond na fo, nes i ddeud wrtho, dylio i 20 mlynedd eto efo, ond mae'n gofod gen i gael fydd rwan allan te. Wedyn, diolch o fawr iawn i Hugh am y gwaith dda mae wedi wneud efo'r pwyllgor yma. Ond na fo, mi ai ymlaen rwan efo'r cynnig sy'n efo yma. Mae'n pleser gen i gynnig argymhellion y pwyllgor gwasanaethau democrataidd a gynhalwyd ar y 9 ar 20 o Gorffennaf. Fel gefndir, mae WLGA yn annog pob cyngor i abwysiadu datganiad amrywiaeth fel rhan o'r paratoriadau ar gyfer etholiadau 2002 ar 20 mwyn sicrhau bod cynghorwyr y dyfodol yn fwy olegfa representative o'r gymuned lleol. Diolch yn fawr.
Thank you for that, Councillor Llewellyn-Jones. Could I call upon Councillor Vaughan Hughes, please?
Diolch, Mr Cadeirydd. Gain ddeud y bydd yn chwith i ni ar ôl Hugh, fel rhywun sydd wedi bod yn aelod o'r pwyllgor yma o'r cychwyn. Dwi'n falch o eilio'r cynnig a'r argymhellion. Diolch yn fawr i chi.
Thank you for that. Before we go to the vote, I'm sure we all echo Councillor Bob Llewellyn-Jones' observations and Councillor Vaughan Hughes. Have anybody else got any comments or anything before we go to the vote? Councillor Ynys.
Ie, diolch. Dwi'n meddwl bod o'n andros o bwysig heddiw bod ni gyd yn derbyn yr cynigion yma. Mae'n bwysig bod ni yn hyrwyddo amrywiaeth mewn aelodau etholedig. Mae gennym ni gama mawr i'w cymryd fel awdurdod a mae'n bwysig bod ni yn cael gwell trawstoriad o aelodau etholedig a bod ni'n defnyddio y llwyfan yma o gyflwyno'r adroddiad yma heddiw fel cyfle i'r wasg rhoi rhywbeth allan yna yn dweud bod Cyngor Ynys Môn eisiau gweld amrywiaeth mewn cynghorwyr yn dilyn etholiad 2022 a bod ni gyd mewn cytundeb yn unfrydol fel 30 o gynghorwyr i weld hynny'n digwydd. Mond chydig o eiriau yna. Diolch, Cadeirydd.
Thank you for that. Anybody else like to contribute? Any more observations? No? Okay, thank you. We go to the vote on that one, please. Starting with Councillor Richard Dew. Councillor Jeff Evans.
Accept.
Councillor John Griffith.
Derbyn.
Councillor Ken Hughes.
Derbyn.
Councillor Trevor Lloyd Hughes.
Derbyn.
Councillor Vaughan Hughes seconded the report, so we take that as read. Councillor Ynys Hughes.
Derbyn.
Councillor Aled Morris Jones. Councillor Aled Morris Jones.
Derbyn, Mr Cadeirydd.
Councillor Carwyn Jones.
Derbyn.
Councillor Gwilym Jones.
Derbyn.
Councillor Bob Llewellyn-Jones, you proposed the report, so we'll take that as read. So Councillor Marion Jones.
Derbyn.
Councillor Alan Mummery.
Derbyn.
Councillor Brian Owen.
Derbyn.
Councillor Bob Parry. Councillor Bob Parry.
Derbyn.
Councillor Gary Pritchard.
Yn derbyn.
Councillor Dylan Rees.
Derbyn.
Councillor Alan Roberts.
Derbyn.
Councillor David Roberts.
Derbyn.
Councillor John Harwell Roberts.
Derbyn.
Councillor Margaret Maley Roberts.
Derbyn.
Councillor Peter Rogers.
Accept, Mr. Chairman.
Councillor David Rees Thomas.
Derbyn.
Councillor Ian Williams.
In.
And Councillor Robin Williams.
Derbyn.
Thank you. And on that note, that comes to the end of business for the day. And I wish you all the best for the day. Go and enjoy all the beautiful weather we've got left. And thank you for a good meeting.